Mr. Speaker, the issue before us today is in the underlying bill is not about whether restaurants should provide their customers with nutritional information. The issue is fundamentally one of the proper role of government. Since President Obama moved into the White House and Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid served as his stewards in the 110th Congress, the Democrats have drummed a steady beat toward expanding the role of government in every direction in our lives. H.R. 2017, the Common Sense Nutrition Disclosure Act, is bipartisan legislation introduced by Representative Kathy McMorris Rodgers and Loretta Sanchez to fix the Food and Drug Administration's unworkable implementation of the menu labeling law. The Food and Drug Administration's regulatory framework is not just cumbersome for the food industry, it also impedes a business's ability to provide meaningful information that customers can use to make nutrition decisions. The Common Sense Nutrition Disclosure Act is critical to avoid harming consumer choice, harming jobs, and harming small business. The federal government should not presume to know how restaurants, supermarkets, cafes, convenience stores, and entertainment venues can best serve their customers and run their businesses. Yet the Food and Drug Administration has done exactly that. For years now, many and retail food establishments have disclosed caloric information to their customers. This industry expertise should have been instructive to the Food and Drug Administration as it developed the federal regulation. In fact, the Food and Drug Administration took 3.5 years before finalizing a rule that virtually ignores serious concerns raised about the harm of an overly prescriptive one-size-fits-all approach. Not only did the FDA disregard the input of consumers and industry experts, it also extended the scope of the regulation far beyond what anyone could have imagined when they voted for this bill in March of 2010. If the Food and Drug Administration is allowed to implement the rule as it stands, the Office of Management and the Budget has determined it will require more than 14 million compliance hours in addition to costs exceeding $1 billion. Even the Food and Drug Administration acknowledged that initial compliance will cost almost $400 million, with recurring costs as high as $115 million per year. Likely, the actual costs for the private sector will far exceed those estimates. Perhaps even more concerning than the costs, food service establishments. Food service establishments are going to face federal criminal penalties for even the slightest failure to comply with the framework envisioned by the Food and Drug Administration. Under Section 403A1 of the Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act, food labeling must be truthful and not misleading. Food labeling that does not meet the Food and Drug Administration standard for truthful and non-misleading is deemed misbranded. Under the U.S. Code, introducing misbranded food into commerce is a prohibited act, and the liable party shall be imprisoned for up to 1 year, fined not more than $1,000 or both. Food to which these menu labeling requirements apply is deemed misbranded if the Food and Drug Administration's rule requirements are not met. It is not necessary that the person intentionally mislead customers under the Food and Drug Administration's framework. Merely adding an extra slice of pepperoni will render the calorie content on the menu misleading, and your chef is now a criminal. People say that the Food and Drug Administration won't put people in jail over this. So I don't think there should be an issue in saying just that people will not be put in jail for an extra slice of pepperoni. I don't think there's a problem with codifying that in statute. I think it would give great reassurance to food preparers in the industry. The Food and Drug Administration's regulation is applicable to restaurants and similar establishments that sell ready-to-eat food that are part of chains with at least 20 stores. This would include bakeries, cafeterias, coffee shops, convenience stores, delis, entertainment venues, food service vendors, fast food takeout delivery establishments, grocery stores, confectionery stores, quick service restaurants, and table service restaurants. Although stores may be part of a nationwide chain, there is substantial variation between regional locations. For example, convenience stores noted in their testimony that, unlike a McDonald's or a donut shop, have the same format everywhere they go. Many convenience stores have different layouts based upon region, so coming up with a uniform standard would in fact be challenging. This means that all chains will incur individual cost for nutrition analysis and for menu labeling for each location, not just one time done at the national level. Under the rule, the definition of a menu is applied broadly to mean any writing a customer uses to place an order. This approach would include everything from in-store menu boards to print advertising in the form of door hangers or circulars or online advertising. The rule requires that each menu item have clearly visible calorie count, including separate calorie information for variable food menu items such as toppings or flavor additives. Pizza chains estimate that there are over 30 million combinations available to customers, and the calorie content for each option couldn't fit on any menu board that I've ever seen. Grocers estimate that the rule would include hundreds of items in stores that are offered subject to availability and demand, things such as fresh produce, baked goods, seafood, making it virtually impossible to have accurate menu boards without changing them on a near constant basis. Many of these businesses would likely stop offering the range of options that are currently available because it would simply cost too much to comply. Clearly, the Food and Drug Administration's regulation does not provide a workable framework for businesses. This rule should be about ensuring customers are provided with accurate, trustworthy nutrition information to help inform their decisions, all the while enabling small businesses the ability to comply. Representative McMorris-Rogers' bill is carefully constructed to create transparency for consumers while maintaining the flexibility necessary for all regulated businesses to be in compliance. The Common Sense Nutrition Act will establish a more reasonable standard for federal regulation by applying nutritional disclosure requirements to establishments that derive more than 50% of their total revenue from the sale of food. The bill also ensures that inadvertent human error will not subject a local franchise owner to crippling fines or possibly imprisonment. Nutritional information could be provided by a remote access menu for food establishments where the majority of orders are placed by customers off premises. Establishments with self-serve food may comply with the requirements for restaurants or place signs with nutritional information adjacent to each food item, and the bill clarifies that advertisements are not menus. Yesterday, during the Rules Committee hearing, Ranking Member Pallone testified that it is important that consumers have information at the point of purchase. I disagree with this point. Consumers should have the information when they are making their order. A menu board may work for some businesses where customers order at the counter where they also pay. But for something like a pizza restaurant where most people are ordering online or over the telephone, having the calorie information when they pick up their order actually won't be helpful to the consumer when they're actually making the decisions. This is an example of how the Food and Drug Administration did not consider the array of business types included in this rule, and this is why a legislative solution not only is necessary, but it